Okay, since it's 10 o'clock, I'm going to go ahead and get this thing started. I'll keep watching for people. If you could all mute so we don't get feedback. Okay. Tell me if you can hear me. Everyone? Awesome. Okay, now we don't have feedback. Just a couple of housekeeping things. I'm Kim Carlson. I'm the Director of Marketing for the POA. And I have the privilege of running these things, which means I log in and then I sit back and listen to everybody. So if you've done Zoom before, which I would guess within the best year, everybody's probably done it, but there is a chat function at the bottom. Well, it's on the bottom of my screen. It could be on the top of yours, but you can hit chat and you can send a message directly just to me, or you could send it to everyone and ask a question. We will make sure we get all of those covered before the end, but the presenters are pretty used to seeing them, and sometimes they'll just, in the middle of their presentation, will answer the questions. So other than that, thank you so much for being here, and I have the pleasure of introducing Debbie Sorensen, who is volunteer extraordinaire. I will just tell the story on them because we had a couple, I think they just got married, from Louisiana that just this week said, hey, could we get a tour? And it's not that easy to get a tour that quickly. So I said, well, let's invite them to meet and greet. Well, they couldn't do that. So Deb and Stu Sorensen stepped in and hosted them and gave them a tour. And so this is the kind of people we have in Bella Vista. And I'm just so honored to live here and work here. So take it away, Debbie.
Thank you, Kim, and I want to welcome everybody. We have many states represented today. Some of you have moved here already, and there are a few people that are looking to maybe move here to Bella Vista. So I'm excited to introduce Bella Vista to all of you. The two main people that we have today, we'll have Tom Judson, who's the COO of the POA, and then we'll have Peter Christie, who is the mayor of Bella Vista. And he will be able to introduce Bella Vista to you. Tom is going to introduce all of the amenities. And then Tom will also explain to you how the ACC works, since it's really a three-pronged stool that we have here. Anyway, I want to welcome all of you. I will close out today, and then Kim will finally do the final closeout, but I'm going to turn it over. Tom, go ahead, and if you would please start the amenity exercise. Thank you.
Thank you, Debbie. Good morning, everybody. I hope everybody's having a nice, dry Saturday. I'm going to start, and I'm going to share screen here, and here we go.
Super.
Okay, can everybody see the presentation there? Okay, good deal. All right, so first of all, want to welcome everybody and want to encourage everybody to go through and take a look at our website. We have a very informative website. It provides a tremendous amount of information, very helpful. So feel free to go through and look through our website. You can get information like here's one example of Lake Point. You can click on the specific website for Lake Point. You can get the menu, driving instructions, the telephone number, hours of operation, just a wealth of information. Here's the information for BV Bar and Grill. So it's very informative and helpful. Here's our 3 fitness centers. And once again, you can get the address, the telephone number, the email address. So we try and provide our property owners with as much information as possible because we have so many different amenities. Here's an interesting page under member resources. You can actually get our fee schedule here. Under governance and financials, you can look at our financial reports. You can look at the board minutes and so forth. I also want to point out this one right here, which is the city, the POA, and the ACC. And we're going to talk about that differentiation a little bit later on in our conversation. One other thing, and this is kind of a new thing for us, is we have a mobile app. So you can actually use your phone So if you go on to the Apple Store or whatever the I don't have an Android, so I don't know what the Android part of it is. But if you search My Bella Vista, you can actually download our app, and this is what the app looks like. And it provides you with amenity information, classes, so when different fitness classes are, the location of different trailheads, events, just a whole ton of information. Here's the next screen. So this is what it looks like if you're on the Apple Store, on this white one on the far left is what it looks like. And you get it or you download it. And here's what the home screen. And once again, here you can get dining information and let's go dining. So it's a tremendous amount of information. And we're working slowly towards the possibility that your iPhone would be your activity card, your guest passes for your relatives and so forth, to make it as easy as possible. So once again, go to My Bella Vista, right here, My Bella Vista, and download that. And it's a very informative and useful app. All right, so now we're going to transition into all our amenities. So here's a map of our entire community, and you see a lot of different icons located all over the place. And we're going to walk through each of these. And always feel free to type in a question. If I don't answer it right away, I can answer it towards the end, or Kim will interrupt me, because Kim loves interrupting me at all times. So let's get started. So here's the map. We have the east side, we got the west side, we got all the lakes. And so let's jump in. We're going to go on the west side first. And you can see on the far left, number 43, that's the gun range. And as you move a little bit north, you'll see Highlands Pub and Patio. If you live on the west side and you need a nice place to go sit outside and relax, overlooking a golf course, we have dart boards, a pool table, shuffleboard table, TVs, so you can watch your favorite game. Just a fun place to go hang out. And there's a picture of the gun range. And then here's Highlands Pub and Patio, and there's the view, just beautiful. Not this time of year, right now in this spring. It's so cool right now. The grass isn't green yet. You can tell this picture was taken during the summertime. And it's got a great pro shop there, and a great bar, and we just recently extended the deck. Next up, we have Branchwood. And if you've been up there recently, you'll see that we just opened 4 brand new pickleball courts. And pickleball is definitely a very popular sport right now. Branchwood is the location of our only indoor pool, beautiful fitness center. We have a mile and a half. There's the fitness center. There's the indoor pool. And we also have a mile and a half walking trail. In addition to walking trail, we also have a disc golf course. So if you're into that, your kids, your grandkids are into that, it's a great disc golf course. I think they'll really, really enjoy it. The mile and a half walking trail is not for the faint of heart. It's pretty steep at the bottom. But we have a lot of beautiful benches along the way that you can sit down and relax. Okay, we're now going to move over to Loch Lomond, our largest lake in the community, and we have Lake Point and the Marina. So here's a picture of Lake Point. It's one of my favorite places to go get a nice cocktail and overlook the water. The sunsets there are just beautiful. And it's also a great lake. We have a marina there where you can rent boats very affordably. Great fishing on the lake. You can also rent kayaks and stand-up paddle boards, sup boards. We have a shop there. You can get all your fishing needs. You can get gas and so forth. So it's just a great place to go enjoy our water sports. All right, now we're going to move over to Scottsdale. This is one of my favorite golf courses, and there too we extended the deck recently. So here's a nice view. This is the 18th green over here, and nice shot of the pub. And like I said, the patio, we recently expanded the patio, so it's got a great view. It looks like he's got a beer ready for me right now, maybe later on today. All right, the beach. The beach is about I think this is our 3rd or 4th season we're heading into, and one of our most popular and most used amenities. So if you haven't been by the beach, stop by. Here's a view of it. You can see we have a nice sandy beach and shade area. And then we have this swim area, so boats can't come into that. It protects the kids. And if you see over here on the left-hand side, we call that the lily pad, and the kids love to swim out there and jump on it and have a great time and swim back. We have a little shop over here. You can get everything that has sugar in it. Candy bars and sodas and everything that the kids need to get them even more wound up. We also have sunscreen, but that's probably the only thing we don't have that does not have sugar in it. And you'll also see here, we rent kayaks and sup boards, so the kids can really have a good time enjoying the beach. Like I said, one of the most popular amenities that we have. Then we have Lake Windsor. Lake Windsor is our 2nd largest lake. We have 3 wake lakes, and all the other ones are non-wake lakes. And this is another one where you can water ski at. And there's a nice picture of someone at Lake Windsor. And then really close to Lake Windsor, you'll see the Tanyard Creek Fitness Center. And I'm going to deviate real quick. You see all these red lines, these dotted red lines? Those are all the trails. So we have approximately 60 miles worth of soft surface trails. This is the Little Sugar system. And then when we get to the east side, we have 40 miles more on the back 40. So combined, we have 100 miles of soft surface trails. The POA and the city work hand in hand to make that happen. So it's just a beautiful amenity that we're still working on. So let's get back to Tanyard Creek. So Tanyard Creek, beautiful place to go hiking, but we also have a nice driving range there. So here's the hiking area. This is the waterfall, beautiful place that you can go to. And this is our largest practice center. We saw over about 40,000 buckets of balls hit last year at Tanyard Creek. So very busy practice center. And then we're going to go up a little bit north here still. And this is where the country club is located and BV Bar and Grill. And here's a picture of our clubhouse, beautiful clubhouse designed by Ife Jones, who was a protege of Frank Lloyd Wright. And he was the founder of the University of Arkansas School of Architecture. So very well known, beautiful clubhouse that was renovated in 2017. Here's a view of the pro shop here. Beautiful pro shop. We won an award for pro shop design back in 17. And BB Bar and Grill, just a great place to go have a nice lunch or a dinner, and beautiful views overlooking the golf course. All right, we're going to move down to Kingsdale. Kingsdale Complex, we have a lot of stuff going on at Kingsdale. We have Reardon Hall, which has a fitness center. Plus in Reardon Hall, we have a lot of meetings. Like if you want to be a member of the Fly Tires fishing group, we have a trailhead at that location. We have one 18-hole golf course and one 9-hole golf course. We have our large tennis facility, and we have a large pool facility, and the deck at the pool facility was just renovated. They're actually finishing it up right now. So here's a picture of one of our golf courses, and a picture of a fitness class going on at Reardon, and the fitness equipment at Reardon Hall, and the tennis courts in that area, and of course the pool. So a lot of activity going on in that area. All right, we're going to shift all the way to the east side, and we're going to look at Brittany. Brittany and Dogwood. So Dogwood is an 18-hole golf course, and Brittany is a 9-hole golf course. And if you are an activity card holder, you can play Brittany for free. We're going to talk about the activity cards in just a moment. But in this area, you have a trailhead for for biking. You have a pool, pickleball courts, golf we mentioned. We have a nice little pub out there. And we also, this little water decal, that's where you can go, and our water department, we have our water department office and our member services office. Plus we have a fitness center there. So here's a picture of the golf course and another picture of the golf course. And here's by the trailhead, and we have, it's called a pump track. And it's a great way for kids to learn how to ride the trails in a safe environment. And you see that's kind of a fun place. And here's the pool facility. The deck was done last year. It's looking pretty good. All right, now we're going to move down to the southern portion, and we're going to talk about Blowing Springs. So Blowing Springs, a lot of biking activity, RV camping, primitive camping. Primitive camping is when you sleep on the ground. Not something for me, but a lot of people use that. And our newest amenity that will be opening up in the next week to 2 weeks, which is the Gear Garden, which is a beer garden. We have a beautiful trail that is going to be going from Blowing Springs all the way up to Dogwood. It goes up Euston Road most of the way. And so we're opening up a gear garden right down there. So here's the RV park. So it's very, very busy on weekends and during the summertime. One of our trails, and we don't have a picture of the gear garden yet because it's not open, but it will be open pretty soon. So I referenced the amenity card. So for $30 a year, and that's per person, with that amenity card, you're going to get free admission to the gyms that I was showing, free admissions to all the pools, free admission to the beach, free range balls, free green fees at Brittany Golf Course. Now, if you rent a cart, you're going to have to pay a cart fee, but the green fee is going to be for free. Free admission to the gun range. You're going to have to pay for your clay targets, but to get in is going to be free. We have a lot of additional discounts on top of that. And then the last one, and the one that I personally use the most of, is 10% off the food at Lake Point and BV Bar and Grill. So for $30 a year, the activity card really packs a punch. It really does. You get a lot for your money. All right, so now we're going to transition away from the amenities, and we're going to talk about the three-legged stool, as Debbie referenced. So many communities, you have the city manages everything. They take care of the parks, the streets, the police, and so forth. But here in Bella Vista, we're kind of like a three-legged stool. So we have the city of Bella Vista. And on this call today, we have Mayor Christie, and he's going to speak after me. The city, they take care of the police, the fire, the library, city planning, code enforcement, trash removal, road repairs and maintenance. So that's the city portion. The other leg of the stool is the POA, and we manage kind of all the fun stuff, the parks, the pools, the fitness centers, the community meeting rooms, the tennis courts, the lakes, the golf courses, the trails, and also the water system. Kind of threw you in for a loop there, but we also are in charge of the water. And then the last one is the ACC, and they're responsible for making sure that what you do to your home and the color that you paint your home, that it matches with the environment and the landscaping and so forth. So whether it's a new construction or remodeling, you're going to want to go and speak with the ACC. The example I give is I lived in a community several years ago, and someone down the way decided to paint their home bubblegum pink. Didn't really flow very well. And the ACC for that community came in and said, no, that's not an acceptable color. You're going to have to recolor it, repaint it. So it makes sure that everybody, there's a lot of harmony between all the community. So it's a three-legged stool. Now we try and make it as easy as possible because we know it can be confusing at times. So first of all, the ACC office and the city office are right next to each other. So let's say you need to go get a permit and you're not sure if you need a permit from the ACC or is it from the city or is it from both? Well, the offices are right next to each other. So you can just go from one to the other, make it really, really easy. Also, the POA we field about 40,000 calls per year. And about half of those calls don't have to do with the POA. They have to do with the city or the ACC. So our staff works very well in getting you headed in the right direction. And the city fields a lot of calls that have to do with the with the POA and the ACC, and they do a great job of sending people in the right direction. All right, questions. I kind of gave you a whirlwind tour there. Does anybody want to jump in for any questions at this time? I think there was a couple, I saw a couple of chats. Oh, it looks like the chats were from Debbie Sorensen. Okay. If there's no questions, I'll turn it over to the mayor.
Morning, everyone. Welcome to Bella Vista.
It looks like we have Meg.
Yes.
Your question?
Yes. Is there adult swim time at any of the pools?
Yes, at the Kingsdale complex, there are certain adult swim times. I don't know them off the top of my head, but you can contact the pool facility and they can tell you. Now, keep in mind that the pool facility at Kingswood and at Metfield are summer, so they're Memorial Day to Labor Day. But also at Branchwood, there are adult swim times, typically in the mornings, so forth. So just call the respective facility and they'll tell you when the adult swim times are.
Thank you.
There's also an adult pool.
That's true. I totally missed that.
That's right.
And
There
where
is
is
an
that?
adult pool, Meg, at Kingswood,
Yeah.
at Kingsdale Complex.
Yeah.
And the Branchwood pool is in the morning. There's classes for adults, but there's also line swimming. And those are adults. The kids are allowed, but it's usually in the afternoon.
Okay.
So
Great,
call
so-
call Reardon or call Branchwood and they'll give you the specific hours.
Great. So the one at Kingsdale is full adult only?
There's two pools there.
Okay.
So one is adults and then one is all the critters and the kids.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
Jeff asked me to make sure to mention the new mini golf, the putt-putt golf course that we've installed at Kingsdale area by Reardon Hall. That's almost 100% done. So something for you to consider going out and having some fun with your kids. And Kim is showing a picture of the scorecard for the new mini golf course. So we've added a lot of features there. It was pretty run down, so it really needed a lot of work. Is there any, Michelle, I think you maybe had your hand up? Maybe not? Nope, okay. Any other questions for me?
The covered areas, Tom, if that we can rent at the different, like Tanyard Creek and at the beach and stuff, if you'd review
So we
that.
have a lot of pavilions that you can rent, like at Tanyard, you're correct, at the beach, at Metfield. But we have picnic tables everywhere at Granton Park. So we have a lot of different places that you can go in. So let's say you wanted to have a birthday party at Tanyard Creek. You can actually call the rec center. You can reserve that facility. So, you know, you don't have to race there first thing in the morning for the birthday, and you can reserve that. So we have a couple different places. We have a large covered picnic area at Kingsdale Pool. So you can have the birthday party really close to the pool area and the kids can run back and forth. So we have a large number of areas, and we have the exact same thing up at Met Field right next to the pool. So they can do the skills course with their bike, go get a piece of cake, and then go to the pool. So a lot of stuff, a lot of fun stuff over there.
There's also a minimal cost if you rent the whole place, but you can use it anytime. If there's other picnic tables, if other people are using the picnic tables, unless they've rented it, you can also use it yourself.
Yep. Yes.
Yeah, hi, I'm Eric, Meg's spouse, and I had a question about the trails. Are there maps that you can find your way back home?
Yeah, there's a map on the POA's website for the trail and on the city's website. So lots of different places. If you're looking for one of the recent renovations that they did is to Tweety Bird. Kind of interesting name, but if you go to the Tweety Bird Trail, it was recently renovated. And it was brand new, and they wanted to make it even better. It's a wide trail, so you can walk side by side. It's 2 miles long, and it's a loop. It's reasonably flat, so I encourage you to try that one. Allison, my wife, and I, we like walking that with the dogs. You hardly see any homes when you're out there. You're out in nature. It's really nice. Now, what's interesting about that trail is not only is it a great trail for walking, it's an adaptive trail. So there's a lot of adaptive bikes out there now. So and adaptive bikes are people, maybe they have a disability of some sort. Maybe they're in a wheelchair and they have like a hand crank or something like that. So I've actually been out there and seen someone on a bike with a hand crank go through there. And so they have the wide trail, which is great for walking and also great for the adaptive bike. So kind of a neat thing that they've done there. So I encourage you to go take a look at that. And actually the board is considering a vote this coming month in about 2 weeks of adding an additional trail on the east side that would also be adaptive, wide, so forth. So kind of a neat thing. And we got to give a shout out to our benefactors, which is the Walton Family Foundation and the Trailblazers and so forth, because over the last, Mayor Christie, jump in, they've $10 million in trails over the last.
Yeah, actually about 18 million.
18. Oh, that's a little off, just a little, only 8 million.
Thank you.
Near miss. So a lot of money that they put into our community, which is just outstanding. Any other questions?
Tom, can you talk about the dog parks?
The dog parks. Well, you know, Deb, we have so many amenities. It's easy.
I know, but dog parks tend to be important to people.
Okay. So at Loch Lomond Park, which is at the foot of Loch Lomond Dam, we have a really nice dog park, and we just recently added a second dog park. So now we have the big dog park and the little dog park, depending on the size of the dog. Now the little dog park is not going to open until June because we just started the area, but I encourage you to go down there. There's a nice trail. I think it's about 0.6 of a mile trail, reasonably flat, but also you can walk to the top of the dam, and it is one of the best views in the community because on one side you can look and you can see Loch Lomond, the lake, and on the other side you can look down the valley and you can see Scottsdale Golf Course. It's just one of the most beautiful places in our community right there. So, and you can also see the Lake Point Restaurant and the Marina from that location. So if you haven't gone to Loch Lomond, you haven't climbed up to the dam, it's a little bit of a steep climb, but it's well maintained, it's paved and so forth. It's a great place. And then you can, at the end, you can tire the dogs out. You take them to the dog park and have them run around and play with their friends. Deb, did I miss any other?
No, that was good. Thank you.
I mean, we have so much stuff out there. We have horseshoe pits. We have playground equipment everywhere. So if you have an interest, we have it. And we're always open-minded. Like I said, we just opened up the new pickleball courts 2-3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
4 brand new courts. And the board's even talking about potentially adding additional. So any additional questions? Well, thank you for your time. And if you feel free to type in a question in the chat and I'll answer it. And I'm going to turn it over to the mayor.
Alrighty, thanks, Tom. Welcome, everybody. You're going to love it here in Bella Vista. I'm originally from Canada. I was transferred down to Illinois, actually, in 1993, and we liked it so much. I took early retirement, and we stayed, and eventually got citizenship, which was an interesting little journey that we went through. And so here we are now in beautiful Bella Vista. We have lived all over the world. We were in the Middle East for 4 years in Saudi Arabia back in the 80s. And my job took me absolutely everywhere around the globe. And I will tell you, there is not a prettier place in the world than Bella Vista. The amenities that Tom speaks to are fabulous. And there are a great deal. For example, you can actually rent what I would call a party boat up on Loch Lomond. And we did that for one of my grandson's birthdays. And it's super. You can drop a fishing line in. There's lots of room on the boat. We packed a brunch, and it's very reasonable in price. And it's a beautiful lake to actually be on. So there is so much to do. I would encourage you to be outside. And that's kind of the theme with Bella Vista, is outdoor activities. That's what makes us different. We also live in a forest, and it doesn't feel crowded. In fact, the city is spread over 47 square miles. We have 550 miles of roads, which is more road mileage than the city of Little Rock. And we've got almost 2,800 streets. So it keeps us very busy. Both police, fire, our street department, our planning department. We also have the library, which just recently had an expansion. And we also put in brand new furniture. It's a tremendous facility, and I hope you're able to take advantage of it. We also have an app that you can put on your phone, and our webpage is bellavistaar.gov. And one thing you might want to do is click on resident, and one of the selections in the menu bar that pops up is I want to ... And if you click on that, it gives you a whole host of things to choose from, but one of them is I want to receive text notification. We have a text service that is exclusively for Bella Vista so that we can tell you about important upcoming events. For example, starting in January, we were very aggressive with COVID vaccination. We took the bull by the horns. We got our own supply, and we have a full community paramedic program. We were the first in the state to get it, and only 2 cities have it in the state. And so we aggressively went out and looked for arms in which to put the vaccine. So we wanted to let people know when are these clinics going to happen. So we were able to post it. In some of the clinics, we actually had some of the vaccine left over. And once it goes into the syringe, it's only good for 6 hours. So we would send out a text. We got 30 extra shots, and that really worked well. So I would encourage you to sign up for it. If there's bad weather or something coming, we will also send you a text, but you can also sign up for BC Alert, which is Benton County Alert. And if you just Google that, it'll take you right into that web page. It also is invaluable for all sorts of information that are connected to emergencies or important public information that is countywide. we do have fabulous trails. And when I became mayor in 2015 and Tom arrived soon after that, we realized that we needed this amenity. You know, it's kind of funny because when I was running for mayor, somebody said, well, you got all the hills and everything else. What the devil are you going to do? All you got is golf courses. And that was not quite correct, because the Walton Family Foundation was already beginning to look at possibly putting trails here. So soon after I came in, we had a full trail master plan, which you can see here at City Hall if you so wish. And Tom had it as well. We got it through City Council and through the POA board, and we've never looked back since. And there's another 50 miles yet to build someday on the far west side. But right now, we're just going to hold tight with the 100 miles. That has set us apart from almost any city in the world, actually. And we do have people coming all over the world to stay here. Some people have said, well, are the trails contributing to anything? Oh, the answer is absolutely yes. We've done a study. The average person from out of town spends roughly $217 a day while they're here. And while that may sound incredulous, it's everything from food. They could be staying over in the RV park, which is a great facility run by the POA. Plus, the POA also has tent camping over there, which is very, very popular with the bike crowd. So it also is helping to grow property values. And that was one of my biggest concerns. I did not want any kind of decline in property values as the demographics changed. We were, gosh, as recently as 7-8 years ago, we were known as a retirement community, and we had that stigma. But things began to change. The demographics are such that anybody over the age of 65 is part of roughly 29 to 30% of the population. And anyone from age 55 to 64 is 25%, and the rest, believe it or not, is under the age of 50. And that change is continuing. The trails have had such an impact that we've got people moving here simply because of the trails. Now, my age group, and Tom's, because he's older than me, would always say, it's a standing joke. You know, we would always say, I'm going to get the job first and then I'm going to move. Well, the younger people say, no. I'm going to move to someplace I really like and then I'll worry about a job. So you can see the difference in, you know, in the way that they think. And it has been proven that if you have a home that is reasonably close to the trails, your property value has gone up by 15%. And I can give you a live example. A home right beside one of our main trailheads sold in 2017 for $300,000. And the trail had only been open for a year. 4 weeks ago, it sold again for $500,000. There were 12 offers. And the person who won is an avid cyclist from out of state. So you can see what's happening, how it's driving and keeping and sustaining that housing value. So that's very important to me, because all of us don't want to see a declining house value, especially if you're going to be here for a long time. And when we go and meet our maker, I certainly would like to leave something behind for my kids and my grandkids, and a house is usually your largest asset. So again, I iterate what Tom said. We could not have done this without the Walton Family Foundation. We're also planning to extend the Razorback Greenway, which runs now from Fayetteville all the way through Blowing Springs and up into Metfield now that the connector is finished. We're going to widen Mercy Way Bridge. That's where the Mercy Way Clinic is, if you can picture that, or CVS. We're going to widen it to 4 lanes because, again, my mantra is we're going to stay ahead of the growth. We're not going to let the growth manage us. So we've been hiring diligently, bringing in more police, more fire, more code enforcement people, more building inspectors, planners, because our housing explosion is incredible. Last year, we issued 416 new housing permits. To put it into perspective, at the end of 23, we issued 35. It has just gone up every single year. For the month of March alone this year, we issued 100. So we've got to be ready and staying ahead of this. And so we know that we're going to have to widen that bridge. The east side is very popular because it has sewer. The west side, not so much. We're going to put a razorback trail onto that new bridge, again, courtesy of the Walton Family Foundation. The plan, believe it or not, is to eventually take the razorback all the way up to Joplin. And not sure if I'll see it in my lifetime, but there is actually a national map that has been drawn up showing bicycle highways. 4 of them going north-south, 2 of them going east-west. And the Razorback Greenway is one of the 4 north-south and has actually been given a designation as bicycle highway number 51. So they're serious about this. It'll be marvelous to see as it continues to grow. Back to the city, some people have been wondering, well, just how are we doing with COVID? We estimate that between ourselves and the pharmacies, the main 2, which is CVS and the one over in Mercy, which is Cornerstone, plus those that have gone down to the mass ones down at JB Hunt in Lowell, we have 50% of our adult population up here with both shots, and far ahead of everybody else. Our challenge now, of course, is to get to those that are hesitant to do so. And while our strategy in the past was come to us, and we would host them down at Reardon Hall or up at St. Bernard's Catholic Church, we're now going to bring it to them. So in the coming weeks, if you go to some of the grocery stores or go to an event, you'll see the paramedics will be set up. And if you want a shot, drop by and get a shot. And we've done this so many times now, we've got it down to a science. Towards the end, before the decline started in demand, we were actually doing 1,300 a day. And so I'm very pleased that the residents have taken this upon themselves and have stepped up on the vaccination. So my thanks to all of you that have participated, or perhaps you got your shot before you moved here. In March of last year, the residents voted their approval for a $24.3 million bond, first bond that the city had ever issued. The city, by the way, was only founded in 2006, so it's quite young. But again, part of that need to stay ahead of the growth. We recognized that we needed a proper public safety facility, which is both our court. We brought in a district court in 2017. We also need a new police station. The police station currently is located down at the intersection of Lancashire or 340 and 71, beside Fire Station number 1, and that's where City Hall is as well. The police end of it is an old POA office building, and it's showing its age, and we've been hiring so aggressively that people are literally crammed into offices, 3, 4, 5 people at a time. So it's time to get a new facility. We also asked, as part of that bond, to replace Fire Station number 3. So those of you that are living on the west side, you may have seen construction on the corner of Glasgow and Edinburgh. That's Fire Station number 3. Current Fire Station number 3 is right across the street. It was built by Cooper in 1987, and it's only a 2-person station. And we need a 6-person station with another bay, and we want to get an ambulance up there as well. So that is I'm hoping it's going to open sometime in October. We will keep the old Fire Station number 3 and convert it into a streets department substation and build a sand and salt storage behind it, so that in times when we do get snow, which we've had a couple of interesting ice and snowstorms this year, we're able to react quickly. We built one on the east side about 2 years ago, and it really paid dividends because the fellows driving the salt trucks and plows don't have to go all the way back to the central streets building, which we built in 2016 up on 279 across from the Boys and Girls Club. They can actually go to the local facility on the east side and get it filled up, and then they're back on the streets again. So that's worked out very well. The third project in the bond is a fire training tower. And we're negotiating with Cooper at the moment to purchase some land off Lancashire. And that'll be a very, very good facility for us. Every firefighter has to go through that kind of training every year. So what happens is we send them down to another city, down to Lincoln, down to Rogers, up to Joplin, where they have towers. But what happens if you have a really bad fire and you got part of your fire force out of town? That's not a good plan. So it's better if we have the fire training system here. Then if they get called out, they're in the city and they can go immediately and address the fire situation. The other real plus is we're trying to get the ISO rating for the city for fire protection down to a 3. When I came in as mayor, we were at 6. The worst is 10. And 6 was not good. So what we did was we built fire station number 4 and we improved the equipment. We bought a lot of new equipment and we hired a lot of firefighters, and all of them, by the way, are cross-trained as EMTs. And when the ISO folks came in about 2 years ago, they liked what they saw and they lowered the rating to a 4. Now, why is that important to all of us as residents? Most of the insurance companies look at that ISO rating to determine how much fire insurance you are going to pay. I think the only one that doesn't use it is State Farm for some reason. But my objective now is to get it down to a 3. And that fire training tower gives us huge points for ISO. And so that will be my parting gift to you, I hope, as I end my term at the end of next year. So that's the bond issue. It is a self-paying bond issue. And what I mean by that is the voters also agreed to a 1% sales tax. I must say that that 1% does not come to the city. When the retailer collects it, it goes down to state finance. It's earmarked. State finance sends it over to our bond trustee. And the bond trustee actually pays down the bond and pays all the construction costs for our 3 projects. We have a farmer's market here. We started that, oh gosh, around 2017, I guess. We didn't have it last year because of COVID. We brought it back this year. We felt that everybody needed an opportunity to get out and meet and greet people again and to enjoy the fresh produce and some of the other crafts that are sold at it. In the past, we had it down in the Allen's grocery shopping area. We moved it this year up to where Duffer's Restaurant is, if you're familiar with that, on Lancashire. And the reason for the move was because there's a movie theater that's empty in the Little Sugar Creek Shopping Center. It's been empty for about 3 years. It's owned by Cooper. And Cooper says that this year they're going to demolish it. Well, in reality, they've said that for what, every year in the past 3 years, Tom? But they seem to be in earnest this year. So I didn't want a farmer's market down there and then suddenly have to find a new home for it because of all the dust and the construction equipment. So we moved it up to the Duffers area. That Duffers area, by the way, is where the ACC is located that Tom mentioned. And we have our community development services right next door in a separate building from the ACC. And that's where you'll get your permits for fences, etc. That's where the builders go to get all their permits for new homes and other construction. Our district court is there as well. It's right next door to CDS, or the Community Development Services. So the farmers market runs every Sunday from 9 till 2 in the afternoon, rain or shine. And I hope you have an opportunity to go there. Last week, the parking lot was packed. Duffers is open if you'd like to have breakfast. And within 3 hours, the 3 vegetable vendors were sold out. So it's very, very popular. We're also going to be getting a bicycle shop. We had one before, again, over where Allen's is. And unfortunately, while our bike shop was doing well, the rest of their other retail outlets were not, and they eventually folded. However, Fat Tire PHAT Tire, which is in most of the major communities in our area, is coming to town. They're going to be building on Reardon Road between Casey's on the corner. And some of you who may have been here or are familiar with the city that used to be the Iberia Bank, it's now a dermatology. And you can see where they've actually prepared the ground. So they have gone through the Planning Commission. They need some variances and they're going in front of the Board of Zoning Adjustment next week, I believe. And then hopefully they're going to begin construction. That's going to be a great addition for us. There's a trail right behind it that connects with the Razorback Greenway. And so we'll see a lot of people coming into that area. They'll be able to go and get a sandwich and a beer over at JJ's or Casano's, or they can go to Dairy Queen and then be on their way. The new Little Sugar soft surface trails are right beside the Fat Tire location. So I'm really looking forward to having Tim Robinson and his group. Tim is the owner of Fat Tire, actually come in here. Somebody had asked about a trail map. You can pick up a physical trail map if you like at City Hall. It's only for the back 40. There isn't one yet for the Little Sugar, and I'll tell you why. We learned the hard way. We opened up the back 40 in 2016 and immediately said, we've got to have a map. So we produced a map that everybody could use. We learned that within the first year, trails change. And because you'll get feedback from the community saying, this trail is too steep, as they did on one of them. So we had to relocate it and put in switchbacks. Another one we found was actually built over an old stump dump, and nobody knew it was there until the trail began to disintegrate as all the dirt was filtering downward. So we had to move that. And the reason for not having the map is not only because your map is now wrong, but the physical description of where the trail is, because it's an agreement between the city and the POA. We are leasing most of the land for the trails from the POA on a 25-year lease with a 10-year automatic. And there has to be a physical description in the legal contract between the two entities. And it's a very, very thick section because we have so many trails, and you have to do, you know, the GPS coordinates and the latitude and the longitude and everything else. So we wanted to wait for Little Sugar, the new one, until we've gone through a year. I'm sure things are going to change, such as, you know, the improvement to Tweety Bird really didn't change the location, but it changed the usage. It's much more friendly to even those in a wheelchair. And I should tell you the story behind Tweety Bird, the actual name. The company that oversees the building of the trails is called Trailblazers. They've been around for a long time. The executive director is Aaron Rushing, a young man in probably his early 40s. And unfortunately, he lost his wife a couple of years ago. And she was a real proponent of trails, a delightful young lady. And we were so sorry to lose her, but her nickname was Tweety Bird. So that's how we got to Tweety Bird. I asked Aaron to ensure that she would always have a legacy in the trail system. Finally, the Lake Bella Vista Dam. You may know where it is. It's down by the Wall of Honor. I would encourage you to go to the Wall of Honor. It's by the Veterans Council of Northwest Arkansas. That is in Bella Vista, whereas the lake and all the ground surrounding it is in Bentonville. The soccer fields are also in Bentonville, not Bella Vista. It's a bit of a convoluted mess down there, and it goes back to a taking that Bentonville did at the turn of the century. But the dam was constructed decades and decades and decades ago, and it has been failing slowly, not where it burst on the earth berm, but over at the concrete dam itself that they could open and close the sluices. And there has been a great deal of angst in the community about those who don't want the dam at all, just let it run free. And there are others who want the dam back. There's a lawsuit between Bentonville and Cooper Communities as a result of this. It's now sitting in the Court of Appeals. It'll probably go all the way to the Supreme Court. But in the meantime, what are they going to do with the breach in the Earthen Dam? And the mayor of Bentonville told me earlier this week that they have received permission and an emergency permit from the Corps of Engineers to go in and fix the hole. Because it is a rather dangerous situation. If you've seen it at all, there is part of the old road surface that has been undercut by the water, and we certainly don't want anybody standing out there and suddenly it gives way and collapses. That dam, by the way, was the major connector between the east side and Highway 71 before the Mercyway Bridge was built in 1997. And that's the one that we're going to widen to 4 lanes and also have an extension of the Razorback Greenway. Okay, please review the new bypass. Okay, the bypass has been in discussion for about 20, 25 years. And that's how long it's taken to finally get to where we are now. Why do we have a bypass? Well, if you've been on 71, you can see why. It is the last 2-lane link that goes through a city of I-49 that connects with the I-44 up in Missouri, and it connects with I-40 down in Fort Smith. And so it is a huge, huge thoroughfare with a lot of semis. My wife and I had a game that we would play. We'd sit at the lights, say at Rearden, and while we're waiting for it to turn green, how many semis? And when we moved here 11 years ago, it used to be about 4 to 6 for the duration of the red light. It's now up to 9 to 12. So it's increasing. The traffic counts are increasing as we get bigger. The traffic count at the Missouri border is 20,000 vehicles a day both ways. And down at the bottom, it has increased from about 35,000 to 54,000. So those are vehicles that are created by us with all the new people coming in. So that gives you a feel for just how big is it going to be. Some people have said that it's going to hurt our economic situation on 71. That's not true. Truckers don't stop. They just keep barreling through. And those that are coming through and are going south to their jobs in J.B. Hunt or Walmart or Tyson that are coming from Missouri and Oklahoma don't stop. They've already had breakfast and they've got their coffee in the hand and they just want to get to work. And when they come back at the end of the day, they're not going to stop in Bella Vista for groceries. They're going to stop closer to home. The bypass is also going to be really good for the folks that are on the west side. You are now going to have the opportunity to cut your commute time in half, or your travel time if you're going down to Fayetteville, for example. In the past, and even currently, but in the past, most people would come down 340, which is Lancashire, that's a state highway, by the way, and hit 41, then go south and on 71, and then get to the roundabout and then go up on 49. This bypass is going to take you from Rocky Del Hollow, which is one that is very close to almost the end of Highlands. And you get on the bypass right there and it's straight south. And there are no lights or anything else until you hit the construction that they're doing right now on the actual interchange. Everything is to be finished by October of this year, including the Missouri side. And someday, if you're ever interested in why did it take so long to build it and who funded it and everything, I'll be glad to tell you about it. It's quite a story in itself. So I think I'll stop there. Are there any questions for me? Okay, I don't see anyone. So Deb's, back to you.
Good, Tom, thank you so much. And Peter, thank you both very, very much. One of the things I'm going to turn over to Kim. She's probably going to be sending out a quick survey to find out where you're from and how you found out about Bella Vista. One of the things I want to mention is we do have a Bella Vista Museum. It's right on Highway 71, and it's actually 1885 Bella Vista Way. The museum has lots of information. Because of COVID, it is only open on Saturday and Sunday now from 1 to 5, I believe it is. But it's well worth the visit to go to the museum and to learn more about Bella Vista and the history of Bella Vista. It's very, very informational. Kim, I'm going to go ahead and turn everything over to you. Thank you, Tom and Peter. Thank you so much.
Okay, thanks, Debbie. Anybody else have questions? Just raise your hand. But I did give you, I believe, my email address and even my cell phone. You're welcome to text me. But if you have questions about anything, feel free to email me, because I answer questions all day long, and I'm happy to do it. I'll just tell you that I'm similar to a lot of people who live here. I was here visiting when I was 10 years old, when Bella Vista was just we think we're going to do this thing. And my parents looked at property, and we had a free weekend, and it was awesome. It was one of the most memorable family vacations we had. And little did I know that I would eventually be living here. But a lot of people have that same story, which is very cool. And that's what's really fun about connecting with people, because I grew up in Kansas. That was a huge marketing area for Cooper. But there are people from everywhere who have come here and are just in love with it. So I will send a survey probably Monday, and just tell me anything you want to tell me. But we're really, as a marketing person, I really want to know how you found out about Bella Vista. And if you say, well, I won't give you any hints, but anyway, we'd appreciate it. And we'll sign off unless somebody raises their hand. And this will be recorded, and we will post it on our Facebook and also on the website. So if you have anyone else that you want to give information to, feel free to send them the link and have them contact me if they need anything.
Kim, it'll be on YouTube, right? Through
Yes.
the POA website.
Yes.
And when will that be posted?
It depends how long it takes Tim to revise it. He has to run it again, but it'll be on Monday for sure.
Monday or
Just
Tuesday,
it'll
good.
take him a few hours. So yeah, if you go to our website, in the very top corner, you'll see the little icons. That's where the YouTube channel will be found. Okay, that's it.
Thank you all.
Thanks, everybody. Hope to see
Bye-bye.
you sometime soon.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you, Kim.
You bet.